Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, or welcome if you're new to my channel. If you'd like, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would really help me out. Um, but yeah, this is the kickoff to my 2025 horror movie pack review series. I do like one of these every year just because I have so many horror movie packs, but I'm going to be doing a bunch of them from now until the end of June. So probably going to try to get 3 or 4 in for sure, with some higher numbered movie packs, like 8 packs and 10 packs. I'm hoping to get at least either 2 8 packs or an 8 pack and 2 10 packs. We'll see how it goes. But today we're going to actually kick it off with a 5 movie pack on DVD, and that is Freak Fest. 5 movie DVD collection here. Now this is a DVD. This is a horror movie pack that I've had in my collection for some time. I want to say it's like one of the first ones that I got. And I think it was handed down to me by a friend, and I'm like, oh, sure, I'll check it out. It looks pretty gnarly. Unfortunately, the cover looks better than any of the movies do. Um, but let's just go ahead and get into them. There's 5 movies, 5 killer creature features, which I take exception to that a little bit because the first one, well, I guess you could say it's a creature feature, Killers from Space from 1954. I'll just kind of read each of the synopsis on the back here. I don't really have notes that I printed out for this, but I watched them all week, so I remember them pretty well. But so first one's Killers from Space from 1954, black and white movie with Peter Graves, James Say, and Steve Pendleton. Nuclear scientist Doug Martin disappears after his plane crashes while he is investigating conditions following an atomic bomb test. When he appears at the military base later, he is taken into custody after he is caught spying. When he is in when he is injected with a truth serum, it's hard to believe in his incredible story of alien abduction, uh, world con- world conquest, and control of animals and insects. That's this one. You can see the aliens there with the bugged out eyes. So that's not really a creature feature, but I digress. Then the next one I watched, the next 3 actually were Japan productions. These movies were made in Japan in the mid to late '60s. Monster from a Prehistoric Planet from 1967. A Japanese tycoon sends out an expedition to a remote South Pacific island to investigate the story of some mysterious creatures revered as gods. Arriving with reporters in tow, the expedition soon discovers a small reptilian creature in an underground cavern. Despite the warnings of the natives to leave it alone, the expedition takes the creature, known as Gappa, back to Japan to be exhibited at the Tycoon's theme park. Then it's Destroy All Planets. By the way, these are the American titles for these movies. They were released in Japan, and I forget what the names are. I didn't print them out, but it's like Gamera versus. It's kind of like King Kong versus Godzilla, except these movies aren't that good. But it's like Gamera or Gamara versus. I don't even remember. So they have different names in Japan, but in America, the second one is Destroy All Planets from 1968. The reign of terror continues when aliens take 2 Boy Scouts hostage to blackmail Gamera into aiding their invasion of Earth. When that plan fails, the giant alien leader Virus battles the flying turtle in a duel to the death. And then the third one and the final Japan one is Attack of the Monsters from 1969. Gamara, the giant flying turtle, spins into action when 2 young boys board a spaceship and are hijacked to a strange planet on the other side of the sun. While the boys evade the clutches of 2 brain-hungry alien beauties, Gamera must deal with a knife-nosed monster named Girion. I think that one was called Gamara versus Girion in Japan. Like I said, it's Attack of the Monsters in the United States. And these 3 Japan movies were actually in color, and then the 2 on the end were both black and white, including the last one called Sound of Horror from 1964. James Philbrook, Arturo Fernandez, and Soledad Miranda, a group of archaeologists is exploring mountains in a remote part of Greece when they stumble across an unexpected find. While blasting away the rock to find a hidden treasure. The explorers awaken a prehistoric creature with the power of invisibility. Only the shrieking cries of the approaching monster gives its victims any warning to their terrifying fate. So yeah, that's basically it's called Sound of Horror, basically to be low budget, so they don't actually have to produce a monster on screen. But anyway, yeah, those are the five movies, and as I've kind of hinted at, none of these movies are very good. They're all very low budget. Some of them are harder to see than others because of the low budget nature of them, as far as the shooting and everything, and just how it looks on film. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what I can say about it. Like I said, these four are all creature features. This one I'm not really sure is a creature feature. It's an alien feature. Um, but I can't remember. Maybe these were just no, I think they're actually aliens. I was going to say maybe they're dressed as humans, but they're actually creatures. But I don't think so. Anyway, um, yeah, I was kind of bored by most of these, and I should mention that like the three from Japan aren't really horror movies; they're more like sci-fi creature movies. And apparently that Gamera, there was a whole series of movies in the '60s that from Japan, I should say. And these, I think this is like the second and the third one, Destroy All Planets and Attack of the Monsters. Out of like five of them, I think there are two or four. I can't remember. But yeah, basically, Gamera is this flying turtle creature that's like friendly with humans on Earth and looks out for them against monsters or other beings from other planets, kind of thing. Um, I didn't really find any of those movies overly entertaining. I guess if I had to pick one, it would probably be the one that I watched last, Attack of the Monsters from 1969, where you have Gamera, the giant flying turtle, who spins into action when the two boys board a spaceship and are hijacked by a strange planet. You have these two like alien women who at first are really nice to the boys, but ultimately they're like cannibals that want to suck the boys' brains for information. And then Gamera has to. They have their creature, this knife-nosed monster, which I will say looked pretty decent for this time anyway, named Gurion. But the battle between Gamera and Gurion was probably the most interesting of the three Japanese movies. This is probably the movie that I was actually watching instead of instead of scrolling on my phone like I was with these two. I would say Destroy All Planets was probably the worst of the three. Monster from a Prehistoric Planet was just kind of middle of the road. But like I said, they're all low effects, low budget, low quality in a lot of ways. Like Japan creature sci-fi movies, not even horror movies. Killers from Space, the first one that I watched, the black and white one, that one would probably be, that one was okay. I would say that was probably one of the better ones on this horror movie pack, which isn't really saying much. Sound of Horror, the last one, I give them credit for finding a creative way not to have to produce a monster on screen. Calling it Sound of Horror and basically just having you just hear the cries of the creature, and then you see like the characters that are being attacked by the creatures. They got like slash marks on their face and stuff, and it's just they're kind of like then they move their hands away, and you've got the slash marks. It's very low budget, very cheesy, very 50s. So yeah, that's kind of. I guess if I had to rank them, I would say Killers from Space would be first, then Attack of the Monsters from Japan, then probably Monster from a Prehistoric Planet from Japan, then Sound of Horror, and then probably Destroy All Planets was my. That's the one that was way too long, and I was just checked out of that movie. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else is. I know this horror pack is out there. I've seen it online. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with it, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend going out and tracking it down for a lot of money. Like I said, it was given to me. I don't know that I'm going to keep it just because I don't really foresee going back and watching these movies. And quite honestly, I think all five of them are available on YouTube, and I can't imagine the quality is going to be any worse than it is on here. Um, I should say that all five movies are just on one DVD too. Um, but yeah, the runtime's about 7 hours for these five movies. Two of them in black and white, the three from Japan in color. Um, If you're a fan of like old time, like if you like Godzilla versus King Kong, kind of like old school, kind of low budget movies, though not to that level in terms of special effects and things like that, or make your in in the case of some of these movies, having it even look good on screen. A couple of the ones from Japan, you could tell it was like some bath toys that they were putting in front of a blue screen or something, as far as the monsters go. So, if you're okay with that, you might want to check it out. Like I said, Killers from Space was probably, and again, this is a low bar, but was probably the one that I thought was kind of interesting, just because of how the creepiness of these like big plastic eyeballs that the aliens were wearing here. And it had a little bit of suspense towards the end, where the guy that was basically possessed, not possessed, but um, he was caught spying, basically forced by the aliens against his will or knowledge. And then he basically goes to a nuclear plant or an electric, it was like an electric company to try to turn off the electricity, which I guess was going to be the thing that stopped them. So that part was kind of interesting. So if there was a movie to check out, it would be Killers from Space. Peter Graves is also in it, surprisingly. You wouldn't think that he'd be in a good actor like Peter Graves would be in a movie like this, but he is. So that would be the one movie that I would probably recommend. The rest of them, if somebody gave them to you, you could find them on YouTube. Um, like I said, yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way. So overall, as a horror movie pack, I'd probably give this like a 5.5 out of 10. Like I said, I can't say I'm going to go back and watch these movies. I'm probably going to get rid of this if I'm being honest with you, just because I need the room and I really don't see myself going back to it. So 5.5 out of 10 for Freak Fest, 5 movies horror pack. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell as I mentioned earlier if you want to subscribe to my channel so you have access to some great horror content that I'm putting out for you guys. But with that being said, that'll wrap up this first video. Like I said, I'm going to have like an 8 movie pack next week and probably a couple of tens or another 8 or another, I don't know. We'll figure it out along the way here through the end of June. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Hope everybody's doing well. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. And as always, stay scared. Bye.